One. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم اللهم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise and thanks are due to him, and peace and blessings be upon his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Next tafsir session will be after Isha, 8:15, so be careful, okay? Inshallah. Right. Now, today's session needs a lot of focus, and it contains a very, very hot issue that really related to our life today, okay? Now, let me just highlight this simple example, and I want you to keep this example somewhere in your mind. We will reuse it in about 30 minutes. Just keep it in your mind and wait for me in what I will be using it. Let's imagine now, or just answer me quick answers now. Do you agree with me that in general they face really a big issue with the power, energy, gas, oil, or not? Yes or not?
Yes.
Yes, big challenge. Right. Do people pay a lot of money to work with their cars and their factories? Let's talk about cars. Do we pay a lot of money for the gas or not?
Yes.
Do you think that you will be much more happier if someone managed to reduce this money or not?
Yes.
Let's imagine the following now. MashaAllah. Do you have a car? Let's imagine the following literally. Imagine that someone, very humble, nice company, they created a new engine that saves the consumption of the gas up to 10% of what we use. Do you think we will be happy or not?
Yes.
Type. Do you think everyone will be happy? Everyone?
No.
Okay. Tell me who will not be happy. Really, I'm a real question. If someone discovered an engine that it will save your consumption to 10%, which means I pay for my car because it's van, it's a big family car. I pay about $500 a month for my gas. Imagine if I started paying 50. do you know what does this mean? It's amazing for me and you. Type. Who will not be happy? Yes?
The big companies.
Jazakallahu khairan. The big companies of what? The oil and gas. Because simply this creation or this new engine will reduce their what? Their profits. Right. Do you think if I'm the owner of this new company which manufactures this engine, do you think they will leave me doing whatever I want without attacking me?
No.
Do you think they will use millions of their power to damage my image or not?
Yes.
Do you think they will use just legal ways to stop me, or in addition illegal ways? Do we agree on that? Right. Keep this example in your mind, and we will go through our. You will know why I want to fix this concept, because it might sums up the whole idea of the three verses that we will highlight today. Okay. Now I will be dealing with verses. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. سيقول السفهاء من الناس ما ولاهم, which is 142, 143, 144 from chapter Al-Baqarah. سيقول السفهاء من الناس ما ولاهم عن قبلتهم التي كانوا عليها قل لله المشرق والمغرب يهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. وكذلك جعلناكم أمة وسطا لتكونوا شهداء على الناس ويكون الرسول عليكم شهيدا وما جعلنا القبلة التي كنت عليها إلا لنعلم من يتبع الرسول ممن ينقلب على عقبيه وإن كانت لكبيرة إلا على الذين هدى الله وما كان الله ليضيع إيمانكم إن الله بالناس لرؤوف رحيم. قد نرى تقلب وجهك في السماء فلنولينك قبلة ترضاها فولي وجهك شطر المسجد الحرام وحيث ما كنتم فولوا وجوهكم شطره وإن الذين أوتوا الكتاب ليعلمون أنه الحق من ربهم وما الله بغافل عما يعملون. Look now. We have levels of understanding. We have 3 verses. I have not read the English translation yet. I will give you the idea in English about what these 3 verses are dealing with. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, we know that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ with Muslims in Mecca, they lived for 13 years and they did not have what we know as a masjid. They did not have jama'ah prayers. They were oppressed, they were tortured, and we know the whole story. You know that. When they migrated to Medina, from the very beginning of Muhammad's existence ﷺ in Medina, he did what? He built a masjid. Now, since he started praying in a jama'ah manner, up to the coming 16th to 17th month, with the most well-known narrations, which means 1 year and a half, more or less, about 1 year and a half, the direction of Qibla for them, it was Al-Aqsa. It was Jerusalem. It was Masjid Al-Aqsa. Now, let you imagine, please, try to imagine as if, now this is the map. Here is Mecca. Here is Medina. Here is Aqsa. Okay? So, Mecca, Medina, Aqsa, which means they were in Medina, their direction was like this. When they asked to change the direction, it went there, which means as if they did the what? 180 degrees. From there to there. Completely. About more or less 170 degrees. So they changed. Okay? Now, these 3 stories are talking about this thing. We have a lot of lessons in that. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, 16 months, he was commanded to go to the Al-Aqsa. Why? Why then it was changed? It by the will of Allah. But what could be the messages behind that? That we can now understand and apply in ourselves nowadays. I will go with this now. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saw Muhammad ﷺ, up to him personally, he was wishing that Allah will ask him to direct his prayer to Kaaba. But Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has no decision in that. He has feelings, wishings. He would love to go to the house of Ibrahim alayhi salam, his grandfather. But he knows that he was commanded to go to Al-Aqsa. And by the way, this used to be in parallel with the Qibla of what? Jews and Christians. So when he first came to the Medina, the direction of prayer for Jews, definitely Christians, they were not there, I mean as a number, but the majority after the Arabs, they were actually the Medina society, it was Arabs, idol worshippers, and Jews. These are the two components, big tribes from here and there. So he was directing towards Al-Aqsa like Jews in specific. So it was something good from one angle. Prophet Muhammad would love to go, but he was waiting the permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Allah gave him actually it's not gave him the permission, Allah commanded him to direct to Mecca. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him an idea in advance about what he will be facing from a group of people around him, including the hypocrites, including the idol worshippers, including the following of other religions. So some of those people will start making fun, attacking, trying to damage the image, trying to do, you have people who are against you. People who are against you always will be waiting for any reason, just an excuse to use it as a tool to attack you, regardless which really it's a genuine reason or not. Okay? In light of this meaning, we will read the verses. Now, verse number 1, and one of the interesting things to know, verse number 3 that I have read, قَدْ نَرَى تَقَلُّبَ وَجْهِكَ وَالسَّمَاءِ, which is 144, was revealed before the number 142 and 143. It was revealed, 144 revealed, chronological, historical, it came. But Muhammad ﷺ, as Jibreel alayhi salam commanded him, the next 2 verses which came after historically, he was commanded to put them before in the order of the Mus'haf. Now, according to the Mus'haf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, سيقول السفهاء ما ولاهم عن قبلتهم التي كانوا عليها قل لله المشرق والمغرب يهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. The foolish among the people, Allah says, the foolish or the fool among the people will ask, why did they turn away from direction of prayer they used to face? Say, O Prophet, the east and west belong only to Allah. He guides whoever He wills to the straight path. In the footnotes, translators, they say, for about 16 months after daily prayers became obligatory, Muslims used to face towards Jerusalem before the order came to face a new Qibla, direction of prayer, the sacred mosque in Mecca. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the fool will start, talking about, okay, what happens to you? Look to one of the things that say. Now, one of the groups that really started attacking Muslims was the Jews. At the beginning, Jews, they were happy from one angle, that Muslims, they are directing the same direction, which means, and historically they became after them, so okay, they are like us and they are following us. Okay? So when He changed, focus now with me, when He commanded to change, He's distinguished now with a new appearance. Focus with me how we will apply this in our daily life now. Now, excellence, focus with me. Can you achieve excellence without being distinguished? If you are exactly like everyone else, how excellence will be achieved? You answer. To be the best or to be excellent or to achieve excellence, you can't be the same like everyone else. It's impossible. Common sense. You can't be best, excellence, distinguished unless you did something new, better, or whatever. So one of the amazing messages that Allah was commanding Muslims to do, now 16 months, it was like, okay, we share this thing. We are close to you. Jews, Christians, others, let's share. Then, Muslims, you must be distinguished. You must be what? Distinguished. You have something special. You are special actually. Now we will see what you are special. Why you are special? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in next verse will say, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. Now wasata means the best, intermediate. Now we will read it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was preparing this ummah to be in the position of leadership. To be a leader, basically you need to be distinguished by some certain things. Number one, go to another direction. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepared them and told them, be aware. When I ask you to change the direction, you will be attacked by the foolish people. And they will use some excuses. Regardless, you have to be aware. What you are doing when you decided to change or to accept the change, basically, it's for the sake of Allah. So our point basically is what? Obedience, regardless of what we are doing. So this is the first message in the first ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, قُلْ لِلَّهِ الْمَشْرِقُ وَالْمَغْرِبِ. The idea, the excuse now, okay, how come? Are you playing with religion? Sometimes this is your direction, now this is your direction. What's this? Hey, be careful. You are not sure from your religion? A group of idol worshippers, a group of other religions, they started to attack some Muslims. They say, hey, are you sure that your Prophet Muhammad is sure from what he's doing? Because sometimes he's praying for this direction, and sometimes he's praying the other direction. Maybe he's in a shaky ground. Be careful. Are you sure you are following a real, well-established person? A new Muslim easily can be influenced with this. Because the one who's telling him this might be very powerful in his charisma. Okay? Hey, what's happening to you? You are praying 13 years in Mecca. You were just directed to the Kaaba. Now you have 16 months. Is it a game? Is he sure? Are you sure that you are following really a person who knows what he's doing? It's not just an excuse. Excuse to damage your image. Excuse to assassinate your character. As in you distinguish the group of people on earth. So those, you remember the example that I told you? That's just nice. You are about to highlight the flag of the final constitution for humanity, and everyone else has been replaced by you. Let's come to the new engine. New engine. we discovered, we manufactured a new engine. I'm not doing any harm for anyone, but I'm solving problems. Anyone who was benefiting from selling the old cars will attack me. Not because I'm doing bad, because I will solve the problems that they were benefiting from. Be careful about this. This is very important to keep it in your mind. سيقول السفهاء ما ولاهم عن قبلتهم التي كانوا عليها. Hey, what will happen to you? No. Say, قل لله المشرق والمغرب. East and west are for Allah. فأينما توجهوا ثم وجه الله. Don't pay attention to any kind of arguments against being established in your, religion. The concept of are you obeying the commandments or not? It doesn't make any difference for me. The whole idea of the fact that if Allah commanded us to direct, for example, to any other direction, سمعنا وأطعنا, we have no problem. So the idea is respecting the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. جزاك الله خير. شكرا. Thank you, sir. جزاك الله خير. بارك الله فيكم. Now, next ayah will be the most important ayah in today's session. وكذلك جعلناكم أمة وسطا. Why? لتكونوا شهداء على الناس ويكون الرسول عليكم شهيدا وما جعلنا القبلة التي كنت عليها إلا لنعلم من يتبع الرسول ممن ينقلب على عقبيه وإن كانت لكبيرة إلا على الذين هدى الله وما كان الله ليضيع إيمانكم إن الله بالناس لرؤوف رحيم. About seven verdicts, 7 big messages in this ayah. Look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and so we have made you, O believers, an upright, moderate, balanced, and outstanding community, so that you may be witness over humanity, and that the messenger may be a witness over you. We assigned your former directions of prayer only to distinguish those who would remain faithful to the messenger from those who would lose faith. It was certainly a difficult test except for those rightly guided by Allah. And Allah would never discount your previous acts of faith. Surely Allah is ever gracious and most merciful to humanity. Look what happens now. The biggest message now, message number 1, جعلناكم أمة وسطا لتكونوا شهداء على الناس. Literally, أمة وسطا, balanced, intermediate. When you go to the depth of the language, الوسط, الأخير والأفضل, the best chosen group. So that definitely we have made you the best because you are balanced. Now, the balanced thing actually is the middle between two extremes. Sometimes previous nations, they did not take care, they did not preserve the message. So they were extremes in whatever. Some other religious groups, they were extremes in other direction. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala summed up all previous messages completely in the Quran. The cream of the messages. Okay? Final. Seal. It contained the full system which is based on the idea of balance. No extremism here or there. In ahkam, in faith, in regulations, in everything. That's why, what does this mean? What does this mean? I will give you an idea. Do you know Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the very famous hadith when he قال جاء ثلاثة نفر إلى بيوت النبي فسألوا عن عبادته. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was not in one of his houses. A group of people came to ask about the style, the level, the manner of worship as Muhammad ﷺ does on every day. So they asked everyone around, him ﷺ before he came. قال ثلاث نفر فسألوا عن عبادته فلما سمعوا قال كأنهم تقالوها. When they heard from the people around the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, before they faced Prophet Muhammad, when they heard how he used to worship Allah, they felt as if it's much more less than what they do. فكأنهم تقالوها. Okay? قال أحدهم أما أنا فأصوم ولا أفطر. He said, as for me, I fast all time I do not break my fast. Not just Ramadan and Mondays and Thursdays and 3, Ayyam al-Bid. No. Every day. He was comparing himself with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that I'm doing what? More than Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right. The other one said, قال وأما أنا فأقوم ولا أنام. Said, as for me, every night I have a full qiyam. He just sleeps after the Fajr, which means at night, all the time, he's praying. But Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam does not do that all the time. The third one, قال وأما أنا فلا أتزوج النساء. He said, as for me, I don't marry women. As if he's saying, for me, the sexual desire, the emotional need does not exist for me. I fight this kind of, whatever thing. So, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was a wife of 11. Well, and we know no reason for that. قال فجاء النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Then he was told about this. قال أين الذين قالوا كذا وكذا. Where are those who said such and such? قال أما أنا. Look now. Prophet Muhammad, he's establishing now, stating the rule, the golden rule of balanced intermediate ummah. قال أما أنا فأصوم وأفطر. As for me, I fast and I break my fast. قال وأقوم وأنام. And I do pray the qiyam and I do sleep, enjoy the need of sleep. قال وأتزوج النساء. And I do marry women. فمن رغب. Now, please focus. فمن رغب عن سنتي فليس مني. Whoever refuses my way فليس مني. He does not belong to me. This is the intermediate way, which means we don't have extremism. Some religions previous, they became extremists in that side, which means, they don't have any kind of spiritual thing. Everything is just materialistic. Other groups of other religions, they became so spiritual to a degree, they prohibited the normal desires and needs. So you have this extreme and you have this extreme. And Islam came in the middle to be balanced for humanity. You are allowed to be multimillionaire. It's not haram to be rich, but don't let the money be in your heart. Let it in your hand. Use it. Don't let money use you. You are allowed to marry. You are allowed to divorce. Some other religions, it's prohibited to divorce. But what if I have a serious problem with her? For whatever reason, I am changed, she's changed. I don't like her anymore, she does not like me anymore. What else? Some sects, it's prohibited, which is against the normal fitrah. Some others, and and on and on and on. So in Islam, we have this kind of intermediate balance, the best. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is طيب. This is the general meaning. What could be more than that? قال لتكونوا شهداء على الناس. So look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala كذلك, we made you intermediate balanced ummah. طب why ya Allah? لتكون, one of your duties, jobs, to be witnesses over others. Witness with what? One of our new words to understand this meaning, because the word witness it's not familiar for us. It's not part of our terminology. What is witness? I will make it simple to you. Do you know what does witness could mean in our language now, in our words? Criterion, معيار. Now, people in general, because of democracy, liberalism, materialism, secularism, individualism, we have a lot of thoughts and ideas and ideologies, so ups and downs. What was fully rejected and prohibited 100 years in all of the world, including Western societies, now many of such prohibited, wrong, rejected things, they became what? Fully permissible. But who's right and who's wrong? Relativism. From my point of view, from your point of view. Depending on the society, depending on the voting, so Allah knows. By the way, no one can ever have a logical way to say, I am right and you're wrong. That's why they keep what? Changing all the time. And the only way that someone will be happened against your will is by force. Like what we see now in the Russian-Ukraine war. Now, Russia, they are using the physical power, military power, to change the reality. If it's up, who's right and who's wrong? imagine Russians and Ukraine's people, they kept debating through political, let's say, relations. How many years will take, so one of them will convince the others that I am right and you're wrong? How many years? Forever. No one. Because from this point of view, who's right, who's wrong? By the way, they can debate for millions of years. Some of them used the physical power, خلاص, and did the attack. Now, I'm just paying your attention. Is there any way humans alone, depending on ourselves as individuals, under the secular way of thinking, under the materialistic way of thinking, is there any way to come to agree upon one point as all humans? Is it possible practically? It's impossible. Wallah, if I asked you, is water, do you like to drink water? How many opinions will you say now? Do you think, for example, Costco is better or Walmart? Ooh, 10 opinions. Do you think Apple is better or Microsoft? And no agreement. Always we have different opinions. What will happen? Humanity will lose the compass. اسم البوصلة؟ compass? Compass ولا compass? compass. P ولا B؟ كرش عصاية لفوق ولا لتحت؟ تعرف القصة هاي؟ P ولا B ولا P. You know, Arabs, they are facing a serious problem with this. Because all the P, every P in English is B in Arabic. So it's mixed all the time. One of the ways that they use to teach at schools to tell you the difference between P and B is this way. B is the one without having there, like B. The P is when you use there, P, B, P. You see? This is, by the way, sometimes this is how I used to teach some of my students when giving Islamic studies for Arabs. Just to distinguish between P and B. Anyway, so it's a compass. Okay?
There's $1 million balance in there.
Huh?
I said there's $1 million balance, mashallah.
Wallah.
Yeah.
What I was saying.
Compass.
لا ليش I used okay. Now we have millions of people. Different relativism says whatever you think is right from your point of view will be right. Who can convince you if you are not convinced? No one. That's why humanity, they need what? Fixed criterion, معيار. Got my point? But who are the only group on earth who are still having the revelation purified from any change or corruption? Who are the only group on earth who have the texts, the original, genuine software, no change, no corruptions? ولله المثل الأعلى. So that when we dispute, yes, wrong, khata, sah, regardless, many things. Okay, come, what Allah says, it has nothing to do with what you think, has nothing to do with what you feel, it has nothing to do with what you do. No. What Allah says, it's above, beyond completely our desires, our relativism, because we get ups and downs, whatever we say. By the way, the biggest example and dalil for what I say, the fashion, moda. True, for example, anyone who's above 50, is there anyone who's above 50 here? 1, 2, 3. If you remember, do you remember the Charleston pants? Do you remember it? Yeah. Yes. And others, they don't know it. About 60 years ago, 60 more or less, 55 years, the most beautiful pants for men, it was Charleston. It's called Charleston. It was very tight from here, and next to your foot, it's about 60 centimeters. It's like this. I don't know. In our country, they call Charleston. You see? So, and by the way, and most of the men, they used to have this kind, قبة القميص شو بسموها قبة؟ كف. Collar? You know, the collar of the shirt, it was very high, it should be very open, and the hair of the chest must be outside, and the fashion was, they used to call it كعب الكندرة. You know, this is called like the heel of the boots, the سوالف هاي. شو يسموها؟
Burn.
Cyber. You know, 60 years ago, when you see, I think, oh my God, you keep laughing. It's disgusting. At that time, it was what? The fashion, moda. At that time, if you don't, as a man, if you do not wear it, you are out of date. You are بلدي خالص. You know بلدي? يعني you are an old fashioned. You don't know the new fashion. You are old fashioned at that time. طيب, for the sisters, شو بسموهم حواجب ببين مثلا؟ Eyebrows. You know, eyebrows, the last 50 years, ups and downs. 40 years ago, the fashion was to be thick. 30 years ago, became thin. About 10 years ago, يا عمي, I mean, it has nothing to do with beautiful, not beautiful, it's the fashion. It's the fashion. But who decides the fashion? Allah knows. Big people, they want to, or whatever, regardless. I'm not discussing halal and haram. I'm discussing how we are influenced regardless of the logic. It has nothing to do with the logic. High heel. Who on earth can prove to me that the high heel for women is healthy or good? It's impossible. Because it's, doctor, صح? I mean, high heel for the backbones. What does, I mean, what, you know the high heels? It kills the bones, especially the backbones. طيب, it's a matter of what? Fashion. طب, fashion and beauty طبعا. It's beautiful, more beautiful طبعا. You see? It's more beautiful. Wallah, it's more beautiful. That's why the Quran came with what? وَلَا يَضْرِبْنَ بِأَرْجُلِهِنَّ لِيُعْلَمَ مَا يُخْفِينَ مِنْ زِينَتِهِنَّ قال وَلَا تَخْضَعْ. It gave you criteria. Don't ever soften your voice. Don't use anything that reveals the beauty of your body. General criteria. Regardless, 2,000 years ago, 500 years later, 10,000 years later, whatever reveals beauty, adornment is prohibited. Criterion. It has nothing to do with now we are, no. This is a criterion. That is completely safe. I give another example how we are an intermediate ummah with the text that we have, with the preservation of the hukum that we have. Who on earth can use his religion to prohibit alcohol? Except Muslims. You tell me. I'm asking. Who on earth can use the power of his system, okay, to refer to the divine being that this is the text and this is the justification? Who? No one except Muslims. طيب. Who on earth, by the way, I'm not saying we don't have bad Muslims, but they know that they are breaking the law. I'm saying who has the power of the preservation of the text and the law to be used as a power against humanity. Who? Who has a reserved text? You got my point? Another example. Now, do we know or not that one of the biggest problems of humanity are the sexual diseases? True or false? AIDS, I mean, basically the main reasons of AIDS, the HIV, was what? Sexual relations. 30 years ago, everyone knows that. 80+% from such and such. 9% from, blood with the drugs. Most of them, sexual relations. Type. Who is the only religion who has a very clear-cut had limit that fornicate, or I'll not say fornication, any sexual relation outside the marriage is completely prohibited. Who on earth has the system? Just Muslims. This is the Shahada. This is the criterion. If anyone, my point is, let's imagine an alien came from another planet now and came to Earth. Let's imagine a very clever, just one with an intellectual power which is very nice. But he's just a white sheet. He's looking what could be the best on this planet. And he sat starting to listen to the people. You claim, you claim, you claim, you claim. When he looks to the verdict, it has nothing to do with Arabs. It has nothing to do with our desires. Actually, many Islamic verdicts are against our desires. It has nothing to do with us. We have to pay 2.5% of our as compulsory. Highly we are recommended to pay The sadaqah. Who on earth, give me another example. This is the final example with this verse. Who on earth can use the power of his religion to create a general attitude on earth by sons and daughters to respect their elderly parents? بر الوالدين. Who? Who has the power? I'm asking who has the power, against the people, to say, look, this is not my personal point of view. Allah and justification. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Whatever وَإِنْ جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَى أَن تُشْرِكَ. Even if they were struggling 24/7 to make you a kafir, a mushrik, yet you must respect them. Where can you find this in any system on earth? One of the funny things that we always criticize feminism. Feminists, for example, all the time they are fighting, most of them in the Arab world, they are fighting everything in Islam. I say, okay, you feminists, show me, apart from when you ask the young girls, they have the freedom to wear whatever, so they are against the hijab. Okay, forget this. They have the freedom of their sexual life. Okay, forget this. Type. Show me where on earth you were fighting to protect elderly women to have an honored status in their societies. Have you witnessed any feminist group fighting for the elderly, retired women facing from Alzheimer? They need 2 people at least with them to go to the toilet, and they can't live alone. They were fighting for their rights. Have you witnessed? Because I want to change my attitude. Have you witnessed?
No.
No. طيب, the elderly woman, is she a woman or not?
Yes.
But why they are not fighting for her? Do you get my point? Girls too is not women's right. No. They are pushing women to come to a status they can make benefit of them. They want to kidnap them. I'm giving you examples. What do I mean by لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ? When you read this ayah, Allah is telling you, all Muslims, I have given you the qaida, the principle, the foundation, the criterion in which humanity would love to know what they should do to be saved in their lives. This is your book. Because no one can play with it. No one can change it. No one will ever dare to change it. وكذلك إنا نحن نزلنا الذكر وإنا له حافظون. Allah promised that He will preserve this. So if I fought the Quran, I will be the loser. Quran will not be changed. And everyone with a pure fitra, inner nature, knows that the haqq is in there. That's it. But the idea, keep telling the people about that. Be careful. Okay? This is the most important meaning of the ayah. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. Therefore we have made you the best in terms of being balanced, intermediate, upright community, so that you will be a witness. This is the first message. Second message. Now, وَمَا جَعَلْنَا الْقِبْلَةَ الَّتِي كُنْتَ عَلَيْهَا أَلَّا لِنَعْلَمَ مَنْ يَتَّبِعُ الرَّسُولَ مَنْ يَنْقَلِبُ عَلَى عَقِبَيْهِ. Now, so that message. We assigned your former direction of prayer only to distinguish those who would remain faithful to the messenger from those who would lose faith. This was an experiment where Allah was testing the people. The core point in Islam of obeying the commandments. The core point of being a Muslim is submission, to submit yourself to the will of your Lord. This is one of the tests to have an idea. Allah commanded them to go to that direction, then change the direction. What was the reaction? Do you know that some Muslims, they committed apostasy? They were not mentioned as numbers, but a group of them. قال فارتد بعض المسلمين. Some people, they were in a very shaky ground. يعبد الله على حرف. You know, يعبد الله, which means, okay, some people, they always look just for benefits for himself. If there is a possibility that he might sacrifice or lose something, no, I don't want. This is not an ethical relation. Just take the very simple relationship, which is a man and a woman, husband and wife. Is it always that you will be enjoying everything, or you will sacrifice if you love? If you claim that you love your Lord, or you respect your Lord, or you appreciate what Allah is giving you, is it just when anything happens against your wish, your will, your expectation, immediately you will lose, you will break the contract? It's a test. It's, by the way, what differs this from any kind of company or partnership? Allah told you, go this. Some of them, they left the Islam immediately. What's this? Why? They accepted listening to the outsider who are against Islam and Muslims. You remember? When they changed, some of them started attacking. What kind of shaky ground this religion is? What kind of this? They accepted to listen to the enemy. Look, by the way, this is applicable to many of us now going to the social media. You go to TikTok, you go to YouTube, you find people are attacking. Some people say, yes, that's true. But why are you listening to them? Do you have the power? No. Have you studied Islam? No. Do you anything about the terminology that they are taking? No. But they say that Muhammad did such and such. Prove to me that he did not do it. So this is the only thing that was stuck in his mind. But why are you listening to them? I'm a free thinker and I would love to listen. Just fix your problem with your religion first. Know your religion. Study your religion and go to listen to anyone. This is what there is. بل في قلوبهم مرض. There is problem in your heart. بعيد عنكم جميعا God forbid. Okay? But this person has a disease in his heart. So they keep listening when they tell, look, Muhammad is changing, they left Islam. قال وما جعلنا القبلة التي اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. وما جعل التي كنت عليه إلا لنعلم ممن ينقلب على عقب وإن كانت لكبيرة إلا على الذين هدى الله. How can we benefit in our nowadays now? Look to this simple example. Now many Muslims, they are born Muslims, but they are not practicing Islam. True or false? They are far from going to the masjid. They might be far from the hijab, far from as-suhbah as-salihah, the good, brothers and sisters. Far from many things that has to do with the normal Islamic teachings. How many of them, when they decide to change their life to what satisfies Allah, they start to receive a lot of attacks from everyone around them? Take the example of hijab, for example. I will highlight the concept of salah, prayer, and hijab. I witnessed many cases, and I knew about many cases from my students at the university. He used to be cool, nice, influencer, doing everything, drink alcohol, goes with the girlfriends, doing the haram. Just to pray. Most of his friends, they started making fun of him. Mocking him. ايش يا شيخ ادعي لنا يا شيخ ادعي لنا يا شيخ ادعي لنا يا شيخ ادعي لنا الله يتقبل الله يتقبل. They're making fun, making jokes against him. شو يا شيخ? And if he started to grow his beard, he say, شيخ بالله لما تنام بتحط لحيتك تحت الحاف ولا فوق الحاف. Ha 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 ha. You see? They start making fun. Unfortunately, some people, once they receive this attack and this smoking, this kind, they decide what? They leave completely. It's their problem. You are tested. Do you want the Jannah? Because Allah has already told us from the very beginning. وَبِعِزَّتِكَ لَأَغْوِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. Satan has his own followers. Go now to the social media. Whatever, whoever he or she is, all of them, they have followers. Good people, bad people. Good people, evil people. True or false? Have millions. So don't expect yourself for the fact just you want to be closer from Allah, or because you love Allah, khalas. Everything in your life will be smooth, rosy bed, and everything nice, and the Jannah will... No. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ. Allah will test us. You need to prove that genuinely you respect Allah. You need to prove it what? Practically with your attitude. And one of the very, very repeated things that happened with me from my students. I taught for about 17, 18 years at Jordan University. Many times happened to me, a brother or a sister comes to my office and say, Doctor, look, there is a phenomenon really I am not able to explain or to analyze with me. He said, when I was, and please focus on this, when I was an evil person doing all of haram things, I used to sleep with a very comfort, no problems. I don't see bad dreams. I don't see, and then nothing. Just, I'm enjoying my life, drinking, doing haram things. I just sleep, and when I open my eyes, I started, doing haram things all the time. Nothing happens to me. Once I started to stop the haram things, I'm not able to sleep. And I started to have this kind of whispering all the time, and also to waswas. You know, if I want to do the wudu, have I done the wudu or not? When I want to pray, Allahu Akbar, have I read the Fatiha or not? I said, this is the big proof that you are facing yourself. I said, what do you mean? I said, you were from the followers of Shaitan. You were the representative of Shaitan in your college. You used to be the representative of Mr. Shaitan. So Shaitan has no need to whisper to you because you are doing your job perfectly. Now, Shaitan would love to spread alcohol in the college. You did it. Shaitan would love to let the boys and girls commit zina. You did it. Shaitan wanted to bring them to a very mixed parties and to do haram with drugs. You did it. Why should Shaitan make any trouble to you? You were the best representative, free of charge employee, 24/7. So when you started to stop doing these things, you will what? You will destroy, their previous efforts of evil. So now you will start being attacked, exactly like a mafia, for example, mafia group. Once you are with them, you will be enjoying full protection, fully armed, all of them. They are ready to assassinate anyone to protect you. They bring you the money, drugs, girls, everything. But if you start to repent and to be a good guy, what will happen to you? Every day, someone will threaten you, text message, something, and they might try to assassinate you. And you might be escaped twice, third time, fourth time they will kill you. True or false? So you need to know that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا جَعَلْنَا إِلَّا لِنَعْلَمَ مَنْ يَتَّبِعُ مَنْ يَنْقَلِبُ عَلَىٰ عَقِبَيْهِ. Be careful. If Allah tested you, part of your test, you discover that this is haram. Imagine this simple example. I inherited the money. I'm very happy. It's my first time in my life in a business. I'm not a business guy, but I want to do business because I inherited a lot of money. Alhamdulillah, I established, I paid for the studies, I researched plans, blah, 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 blah. Just, I discovered the whole idea of my company is based on haram. I have already paid $300,000 of preparation to start the company. Then I discovered that it's haram. Simply, I did not ask about the hukum of this job because I was very happy and I forgot. It's my mistake. Okay, the test now. لِيَعْلَمَ مَنْ يَتَّبِعْ مِمَّنْ يَنْقَلِبْ. Haram. It's completely haram. It's based on haram, regardless what is this job. You discover that, and for sure it's haram. طيب? But I have lost 300. You have two options. Say, Ya Allah, compensate me because I did a mistake and forgive me what I have done. خلاص, راح. Flus. As if I have I lost them. By the way, many people, they lose money in the stock market. $1 million in a second sometimes. In a second with the people. They keep fighting to bring them again. They don't feel angry against them and against the system. They keep fighting, subhanAllah. So I discovered this is a test for me. And we have many tests. The hijab. Many sisters, when they start having the hijab, after being a very life full of fun and full of haram things, they will start being attacked with their sisters. Ya habla, la daya waqtik. No one will look at you. The Aris will not come. The Aris? No one will see you. You must go to mixed parties. You must dance. You must be a perfection. You must be a perfect dancer. Or otherwise, how men will be able to look at you to choose you as a wife? A'udhu billah. This happens in many Arab societies. Wallahi, unfortunately. I'm talking about Muslims now. This is completely against the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a test. So they were tested at that time. One of the examples, change this to this. Stop doing this. Don't do this. Be careful. At that time, it was completely through the revelation. For us, sometimes, I was far, I discovered. I did not know, I know. Something changed in new conditions. I came to a company which is completely halal, has nothing haram inside it. Then I discovered that I'm part of a company. I have, for example, an excellent salary. Imagine that they pay me, for example, $200,000 a year. About $20,000 a month. So I'm enjoying good life. Then the company decided to change its policy. It started dealing with the very dangerous haram things. And I started about that. So the money started to be based on haram. And I can't change anything. What should be the decision for me as a Muslim? What should be? To leave. Simply. No, I mean, there is no other option. You discovered that it's big now, change. It was not. خلاص, stop. يا عمي بس يا عمي, your money, what can I do? Here comes ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا ومن يتوكل على الله فهو حسبه, and etc. قال وإن كانت لكبيرة إلا على الذين هدى الله. It will be really so big and huge unless those whom were guided by Allah. And be careful, I repeated this many times. When you say هدى الله, those whom were guided by Allah, this is preceded with many other concepts. Allah will guide anyone who would love guidance and he accepted guidance. This is the end result, okay? Those who would love, they accepted. وهديناه النجدين فلاقتحم ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها. Truly, he is the successful, the one who did tazkiyah, who raised, who purified himself, etc. قال إلا على الذين هدى الله وما كان الله ليضيع إيمانكم إن الله بالناس لرؤوف رحيم. What does it mean? وما كان الله يضيع إيمانكم. And Allah would never discount your previous acts of faith. Surely Allah is ever gracious and most merciful to humanity. Look what used to happen to your brothers, the Sahaba at that time. The attack was amazing because they were just at the very beginning, small group. Others, they were big numbers. They were attacking them. Look to the intellectual attack, like what you have now in the social media. They used to take them apart, saying, look, hey, your brother, he passed away 2 months ago. True or false? He said, yes. Your father, he passed away 6 months ago. Yes. He was praying to Masjid al-Aqsa. Now you changed. So if you change, this means that was a false direction. So he lost his life praying to a false direction. Ya haram. I think he's in Jahannam now. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. What can you do for him? You know, as a new Muslim, knowing just the simple things, anyone can play, with you. He can direct you, especially if he has the knowledge. And those who were against Islam, most of them, they had a very good knowledge. So the problem with Muslims was not that they were ignorant. They were what? Allah having looked of knowledge. Actually, based on knowledge, they were fighting this. So to come to me, hey, your father might be misguided because you changed this. What will happen? Okay, it's a simple argument. But for someone who is very new in this religion, it might cause a lot of troubles. That's why we keep asking always youth, don't follow any kind of website to start talking about doubts about Islam. Because anyone can create many things, troubles in your mind. And by the way, even adults, if you are not well established in knowledge. Anyone. And I will give you simple example about how difficult it is to listen to doubts. Imagine yourself, for whatever reason, when you were born, your father disappeared. Okay? Then, when you became a young child who is able to understand at the age of 5, 7, you were told that he was in prison. But no one told you why he was in prison. So simply, you accustomed yourself with this fact. At the age of 25, your father came out of the prison. So simply, you did not spend the time with your father. You don't know exactly his character. You don't know his ups and downs, to what level he's a loving person or not. But your mother sometimes used to tell you something about him. So more or less, it's a very shallow area in your mind. Can you imagine this? Try to picture this. Now, imagine that out of a sudden, someone came to you and he said, hey, are you the son of such Salman? Yes, come. Your father about 25 years ago, he did such, blah, 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 blah. He started creating a lot of big issues against your father. Now, you don't have a knowledge. You did not seek. You did not fight to ask what was the main reason. Now, if you accepted listening, your heart will be full, and your father might spend 10 years later to convince you that he was lying, that person. Simply because you received this at the very beginning. So it will be established, fixed. This is first scenario. The opposite scenario, imagine yourself living with your father since you opened your eyes till you became 25. You were the closest friend on earth to your father. You know everything he did. You know his justification for every action in his life. You know his ups and downs, his opinions, his fear, everything. and someone in the street, when he knew that you are the son of that father, he said, are you the son? He said, your father is saying, shut up! What are you talking about? This is a big lie. Don't continue. I will call the police for you. Will disappear like a rat. Wallahi, because you are full of knowledge. You know. You stopped him because you know the knowledge. Now this is two extreme scenarios. I need the middle. Because the majority are in the middle. You know what's the middle? Imagine, I'm resembling the one who does not know his religion with that example. For whatever reason, someone attacked your father, even though you don't know nearly many things about him. What you should do? Go and ask. Go and beg him to tell you. Go and speak with your uncle. Speak with your mother. No, I want to know the truth. Why? Tell me. Oh, I'm busy now. No, I will not leave you. I want to know why you were in prison. Then you discovered that your father was in prison because he was protecting and fighting for the human rights in your country against the dictatorship regime at that time. So he was in prison defending poor, needy people, but they decided not to tell you because they don't want you to be harmed or to speak about this because they will torture you. What will happen to you? Your father was nothing, then he will be the biggest hero. This is how many Muslims they don't know about Islam. This is how many Muslims going to the TikTok or to YouTube, just one video, 2 videos, they became atheists. Atheist, skin, ignorant, knows nothing about his religion. Knows nothing. That's why they became easily, it's not just because they are free thinkers. Wallahi, they know nothing about thinking. They are ignorant people. They don't know. This is exactly, when you go and ask, you say, wow, this is really what was my father? Yes, you will be proud. I want to know the details now. Tell me, what happened, why, when? Now you will continue his journey. Look, 3 scenarios. You don't know easily, you will be brainwashed. You will know completely, you will stop. In the middle, for whatever reason, be careful. Go fix the problem. Fill the gap. Know about that, protect yourself. In case, in theory, you discovered really your father was bad, okay, attack him then, if you discover that. But I challenge you. If you can prove to yourself that anyone is attacking Islam, by the way, no one can play games with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَجَحَدُوا بِهَا وَاسْتَيْقَنَتْهَا أَنفُسُهُم. For example, I will give you a simple example and I will finish. How do I challenge you. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited alcohol ultimately. No way to allow drinking alcohol in Islam. But you can find many institutions, many laws, many systems, many ideologies will allow it. You can keep, arguing, speaking from political point of view, from media, from tourism point of view, industrial point of view. You sit alone with yourself. Do you realize that the one who is drunk could kill easily without realizing what he's doing or not? Do you realize that one of the highest reasons for, death casualties in the world are because of the drunk drivers? Do you realize that many people, they do something because of drink, because you realize, you know it. Would you love anyone next to you not to be drunk? Yes. Why you keep just one person not to drink when you go to the party so that when he drives, because driving with being drunk could kill all of you. So the concept of harmful thing is clear in your fitrah. You know it. So if you were given with purity, is this good or bad? You say definitely it's bad. But you will keep protecting because maybe it's part of the industry. It's part of your job. It's part of what your benefit. It's part of your whatever. That's why وَجَحَدُوا وَاسْتَيْقَنَتْهَا أَنفُسُهُم. They rejected it superficially. Internally, in their inner self, they what? They know it for sure and certainty, 100% that this is good and this is bad. But they decide to do something else. That's why those people will face big trouble with Allah on the Day of Judgment. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فيا عز المستغفرين جزاكم الله خير. Next time, inshallah, Be careful. Tafsir session next time after Isha. We'll pray the Isha at 8:15 inshallah بإذن الله. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
And I missed هذا يعني Monday حيكون بعد المغرب. Tuesday
Monday عادي بين